equity and inclusion in the private sector.
One of the managers. This is I'm retiring in 5 days. Yes. All right, y'all. Don't tear up my floor.
They're on your side. Both sides. Both sides.
Okay. What you want to get? I'm going to get
And we were there with you last week.
So, yep.
Love you.
And you better make piano lessons.
Yes, you got a piano that's
Legend God.
Well, where we meet up?
Hey, D, go to...
Y'all need any assistance?
Well, I'm getting some hamburger meat, some eggs, and some chicken. With the help of our Sharpton.
National Action Network.
How you doing?
You got any?
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry about that.
Are you eating on the job?
Watch your back, sir. Watch your back.
We left everybody at Sharpton. Our position has been, we announced on Martin Luther King holiday in a big rally we had in Washington, that we're going to, in 90 days, release a boycott list all over the country. But in the interim, we're going to do a boycott. We're going to go and support those that support diversity. And you must remember these DEI programs are not only for blacks, it's for LGBTQ, it's for disabled, it's for veterans. So our position is very simple. If you do not want to commit that you will have diversity in your workforce, diversity on your board, diversity on your C-suite, then why would you want to have diversity among your consumers?
Yeah, there's some in the black and brown community that say if you boycott stores that sell our products, that actually hurts us.
Tabitha Brown in particular said this.
But I think that is like saying in segregation time that if you fight for desegregation, I'm going to lose my job that is unfairly paid and unfairly done. We want black businesses to prosper, but we don't want them to prosper at the expense of dealing with the larger issue. We should take those companies and support them, put them online. We'd rally for them. We'd have buyouts with them. They should be calling us rather than trying to defend people who may give them shelf space, but will not guarantee that for the community. So there's a way to make both things happen at the same time. If Mr. Trump and his supporters can tell you you cannot make sure that you have a diversified workforce, then they can't make a law to make us shop and spend our money where we're not guaranteed that there's going to be fairness. Diversity programs started because there was bias against those communities. Now you're going to tell me when we're trying to correct the bias that you're going to penalize the companies? No, I don't think so.
Welcome back to Breakdown Friday. Joseph Ward, Patrick Irvin, and Professor Carl Tone Jones. And somebody go get your uncle. Somebody go get your uncle. Your uncle don't understand business. Your uncle don't understand diversity, equity, and inclusion. Your uncle don't understand who are the main benefactors of DEI. Your uncle don't understand a lot of things. Your uncle is purely moving off of emotion. And Costco must be his favorite store. That's why he chose to go walk around Costco, because that wasn't a buy-in, because they didn't buy anything. That was a walk around. But we're going to break down Al Sharpton's ideas around this, but also looking at his brand of leadership. In my opinion, I think his brand of leadership is some of the leadership that has hurt the Black community. It's reactive. It's nonsensical a lot of times. I don't know what's the end goal of this. We're going to boycott those. We're going to boycott specific businesses, but we're going to support other businesses. You can be racist, but support DEI and you cool. But also, it's just like he's not understanding. Like, we already did the other video looking at white women and LGBTQ being two of the main groups that benefited from DEI. And he's talking about, DEI being taken away. And as a Black man who's supposed to be a leader in the Black community, he's fighting. It's like he's fighting for these other communities harder than he's fighting for us, because DEI didn't help us like that. But once again, we're going to break down this particular boycott buy-in, but also take a look at him as a leader. Because in my opinion, I think he's what's wrong with Black America. He's a part of the degrading of Black America. So we're gonna go there. So Pat, you got them looks on your face when I'm saying this stuff, man. So like you saw the walk around. They went in Costco and they walked around, and then you heard him defending his position. What you got to say about this? What's on your mind? What do you think about Al Sharpton and his defense of his boycott buy-ins? Because I was looking at your face at the bottom of the screen, looking at your face as they were going by. I was like, yeah.
Well, they should, they should put their stuff online.
What? You don't understand business. But we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, they should put their stuff online. Never mind the millions of dollars that they would lose out on, that they would have to pay to pull their stuff out of stores, transport them to storage, place them in storage, inventory management, shipping them out when they do get sales online. Never mind the difficulty of driving traffic to your website on the internet nowadays. It ain't as simple as just creating one of them www pages and people just flood your store. I don't know. Maybe he's thinking it's still like that, because it was at one point when not a lot of people had computers or the internet. But in 2025, where there are almost as many websites as people, it ain't that simple. So Al Sharpton is a relic of the past, and he's not even a particularly good relic. I don't agree with much any of his viewpoints with regards to, even with his viewpoint of what was he talking about? The argument is akin to saying segregation did harm to segregation. Go ahead.
So basically saying, though, like people like the Lip Bar and Tabitha Brown, who have businesses in Target, Black-owned businesses in Target, who are getting sales in Target, them saying don't boycott Target because you're going to hurt our businesses. That's akin to the people who in the civil rights movement who were working in those companies that were not about segregation. Because it sounded like that's what it was going to, like the Black argument was for the segregated places.
It was all around a weak argument.
But I'm like, if the places were segregated, how do Black people work then?
Well, I think the way I interpreted it was he was trying to say we shouldn't support, or we shouldn't have. There were people saying we shouldn't have supported segregation or desegregation because that would have cost Black businesses that were operating in spaces who would have been threatened by opening up the market. But Mr. Uncle Al, Mr. Sharpton. That is exactly what happened when we desegregated.
Well,
all of those black businesses, well, not all of them, but a good chunk of them vanished. That's a real live thing. So he's saying we shouldn't sacrifice the larger issue for these people. Okay, but these people are the larger issue. You're sacrificing the larger issue for people that are not even a part of the community.
Right.
Like you're sacrificing the black larger issue for the minority larger issue. So, and then don't even let me really get started on the veterans angle, because one, I get veterans are a part of DEI, I get it, but I do want to address this because people are bringing it up, trying to bring in a new swell of support for DEI, and I want to let y'all know that that's not going to work. It's not going to work, and it was pushed out of the lane of something that was actionable the moment that people looked at the executive order that ended a lot of the DEI hiring freezes and stuff like that started a lot of that stuff, and saw that the VA was exempt from it. And understand that veterans, while they are included, are in a separate space in American culture and society. So, but I just wanted to say that. But as far as what Al Sharpton is saying here, and even then walking around, I had a problem with a lot of this. I'm trying to be polite.
I know you did.
I had a problem with a lot of this. I know PC got to cook up, but here's a little thing. I'll say it's a little thing that bothered me. So he walked through Costco, created a whole scene, which that's a whole other thing. We could probably do a whole show on the ineffectiveness and in fact the negative effect of celebrities showing up. It's not a good thing to anybody except those watching, because if you're actually in that moment, it's disruptive. But the old man walking in front of Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton could have walked around that man. Al Sharpton could have kept walking slowly behind that man. Al Sharpton could have done any number of things. But instead, the person in front of Al Sharpton filming the whole thing told the old man to watch out. It's essentially get out of the way.
Yep.
I felt like that is a great analogy.
Yeah.
I don't even got to finish it. That was a great analogy for everything that happens.
It's about me, not the people. Because it's like out of all the first criticism that he got, the early criticism was, well, if you're going to do a buy-in, why do a buy-in at Costco? Well, because Costco refused to let go of their DEI policies. Okay, let's ask it again. Why choose Costco over black-owned businesses? And the answer is, well, because Costco didn't end their DEI programs. Clearly your receptors are not receiving, and you're not listening to what I'm saying, and you're not listening to what you're saying, because you're telling the black community, hey, don't mess with these white businesses, but mess with this white business. But then we're gonna release a list of businesses that we should support. No, the first thing you should have did was march people down to black-owned businesses. But we know why you did. It's all a stunt. If we're talking about race hustlers, that's the word that the right like to use, race hustlers. Here you go. But before I get deeper, man, PC, it's time to cook, man. Y'all go ahead, pull your bowls up. And sitting Indian style, soup is about to be served, so it's time to cook. Man, what do you think about this?
I want y'all to all know something, man. Me and Pat really don't know how the show's gonna go when it starts off. Like, we don't rehearse none of this shit. I just need y'all to all know that. So, but But so y'all get all original content here, like
Yeah.
nothing rehearsed, staged, or anything. Like
I know what I be doing. I know what I be doing.
So y'all make sure y'all click that subscribe button,
Please.
and share this content, please.
Please.
All right. Yeah. Why you do this to me, Joe? Why you do this, bro?
I was watching it and it pissed me off. So I was like, we need to be pissed off together.
Oh, damn. The funny thing is, I'm not really pissed off because after a while, the shenanigans of Al Sharpton and those like him, charlatans like him.
Good word.
The people who continue to be his loyal followers, they deserve what they get. At the end of the day, this man's been doing this since the 60s, since the 70s. So, he's been in it for a long time. I mean, you hear the mafia guys talk about him, and the mafia guys had him on the payroll. Yep. And then he was wearing a wire. So he was wearing a wire prior to the work that he was recorded doing for the mafia. So who was he serving then? So to put in perspective, right? And Costco's a co-op. It's not really owned. It's owned by the shareholders, the stakeholders. But we know the majority of the stakeholders that have ownership in Costco are wealthy people. That's neither here nor there. But I agree with you. Like, why would you go and to a white-owned establishment? That's what most of the, forget who's all working in there. We know black folk ain't the major investors in Costco. And showcase your protest against the DEI crisis or whatever you want to call it, instead of fraternizing and patronizing these black businesses, for which New York has its fair share of black-owned businesses. New York has black bookstores. New York has black
it's a lot.
Stores. Like you got places in New York. They even have their own open street markets in New York. Why not go to those and tell black people to teach black people how to start building what was called group economics and utilizing group economic skills? The whole concept around the DEI thing is nothing more but a publicity stunt. This whole situation in the store was a photo op. It didn't solve any problems. And I think that as black people, we need to start questioning why we are okay with the whole showcasing of having an emotional reaction to something without being able to put it in perspective from a problem solving, or creating problem solving solutions to these situations and circumstances. I think that's more so what I really drew from this. Al Sharpton at this point is a character.
Yes.
In regards to all of these different things, he's sort of an avatar for what this stuff is. But the main problem is he's a symptom, but the main problem is black folk don't control their own interests. So you wouldn't have to worry about DEI, which benefits black people least of all anybody, and black men least of everybody.
Right. Right.
And white women are the primary beneficiaries of DEI. You're defending white women who voted overwhelmingly majority to put the man in the White House who's eliminating all the DEI programs.
Because they know they still gonna be straight by their white men.
Well, that's part of it, and they understand the collective sacrifice in order to maintain power in their community. They understand there's a role. We don't seem to so we don't, and I get frustrated with this, man, because I do read the comments, right? Because I want to see how the message is taken. Most people tell us we don't know what the hell we're talking about, which okay. But it speaks to the fact that there was symbolism. We don't think on a frequency high enough to truly comprehend the or comprehend the things we need to do or know, or the know-how of how to righten our ship. So we'll look at the Al Sharpton stuff, but that's low-hanging fruit. The real issue is the fact that we have not insulated our community to a place where we don't need to worry about DEI. We don't need to worry about affirmative action because we have not insulated ourselves, because we would have insulated ourselves against those things.